Like,
Da, da, theme song, theme song. Da, da, da.
I'm Tanya.
And I'm Nikki.
We are A Thousand Eyes in One podcast, and tonight we're talking about House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 5, We Light the Way. To find previous episodes, go to thousandeyespodcast.com. You can also find us on YouTube, A Thousand Eyes in One podcast. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter as Thousand Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram, A Thousand Eyes in One. If you're interested in our speculative fiction book club, that is Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram.
Best episode of the series so far.
I
Hands
loved
down.
it. I loved it. I thought it was a really great episode, and we'll get into the
Yes.
wedding later, of course. But man, Westerosi weddings, my
Ooh.
goodness. We thought
Mm-hmm.
Dothraki weddings were bad.
Yo. Oh my God. You know what? I think like in the very beginning, I don't normally live tweet through shows, but well, not through this one. But I did tweet for a second and I was just like, oh wow, Intrigue, how I have missed thee.
Right? I only had
Oh.
one tweet, and it said, Larys, you messy bitch. I thought Otto was messy. Mm.
Hmm.
Also, when we get to the spoiler section, I'm gonna walk back some of my Allison comments now that I've like calmed down a bit from my Fire and
Mm.
Blood read from a
Yeah.
while back and my first few episodes rage. I'm gonna walk back some of the mean things I said about Allison, but I'll wait to the spoiler section to go into details
Interesting.
because it will be
Okay.
spoilery. Um, First off, we meet Lady Rhea first, finally,
We're
and
in
I
Runestone.
I liked her right away.
Me too.
I liked her right away, and in
She
the
reminded me
books,
of Mira Reed.
yeah, she did kind of remind me of her. Um, in the books, it just says that his wife died of uh in a horse accident or something like that, and her skull was crushed. And they
Mm-hmm.
don't give any other context because it's like coming from a mason, they don't know what happened. So now we filled it in that Damon crushed her skull. So my question is, did Damon murder her, or did he just take advantage of the fact that her horse freaked out? What is your verdict?
Um,
Or did he come there to murder her?
I don't know why he was standing there like that, Like it was very weird and chicky, but like I watched that part twice and I couldn't figure out. Well, first of all, she was roasting him. Not
She
that that
was
makes it better.
she was roasting him, and
Like
he deserved it.
he did deserve it. And she took him to task and not mad at that. Especially with but like, cast aside for a little girl, the secret
Yeah,
prayer. He couldn't finish. And I was like, oh, what has she heard?
she knew how.
But
She knows where to dig.
yeah, I mean, so he was right. They don't get along. But I was like, what is he doing to that horse? Is that some like Targaryen magic? Like, what is he doing? Because the horse was calm, and then all of a sudden it was freaking
I
out.
mean, he
What was he doing with the hand thing? What is this motion?
he showed up looking like the Grim Reaper,
He really did. I
and the
think
horse
he,
doesn't know him. He hasn't been there
yeah.
in years, and apparently never even consummated the marriage.
Mm-hmm. Surprise.
But yeah, I couldn't figure out why
But
the horse was
what was he
freaking out so
doing?
bad.
Maybe, maybe he smelled like dragon.
Oh,
Oh,
that would make sense because of course the horse would be afraid of that.
yeah. Maybe he smelled like dragon. Oh,
So
so
do
yeah,
you think he showed up in Runestone to kill her?
I don't think he showed up to kill her. I think he had, where else was he gonna go?
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
he did
he
have to
had,
go there.
he did have to go there. He was ordered by his, Royal Highness and shit. Um, but I don't think that he would have finished her off if it
She
wasn't
didn't
for
say
her
that.
calling him a craven and being like, "Oh, you can't finish."
Well,
I think he was like, "Oh,
I think she didn't want to lay there and suffer.
yeah." I mean,
So,
she was because he stepped on her arm and she didn't have a reaction, so I think she was paralyzed,
yeah, she was
right?
paralyzed. They said her neck was crushed. So her neck bones were crushed. So she was paralyzed from the neck down. And
Hmm.
she probably knew she was gonna just lay there and suffocate. So
Yeah.
might as well goad him into finishing it. And it
Yeah,
seems
he
like
must
it's
have
something
smelled like
he's,
dragon.
yeah, I didn't think of that until right now.
Yeah.
Because it
Because
was
Emma was
weird.
like Emma and both Emma and Viserys were telling um Rhaenyra that she smelled like dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? You
Mm-hmm.
stink of dragon.
Mm-hmm. So
Mm.
that's probably why the horse was freaking out. And then
Yeah.
she thought he was there to kill her, to inherit Runestone, most likely,
Mm-hmm.
which is why she tried to reach for her bow.
And you saw it in her eyes. It was just so like
The
I'm
realization, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I would like, oh man, what a short, just like what a short appearance or whatever, but just like well played. I
He's so
really enjoyed her
terrible.
for all of her 5 minutes.
I know, I know. I would have, and it's funny because you just hear him calling her my bronze bitch, and you're expecting to see like Lady Solis, this
Mm-hmm.
like haughty and like pinched nose and just like ugh, sniffing
Yeah.
at everyone. They would describe her sniffing at, oh, she
Yeah.
sniffed at that and she sniffed at this, and then instead you get this like badass hunter who's
Yeah, like Diana the
beautiful,
Huntress.
right? Who's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful and she's witty. Like we learned,
Mm-hmm.
that short amount of time, you kind of get her personality really quickly.
Yeah. She
And it's
reminds me
like,
of a Targaryen.
yeah, it's like, of course she doesn't like Damon. Damon is not likable. He's a bad
Mm.
person. He's
Oof.
so far only shown us that he's bad.
He's such an instigator. I love me a
Yeah,
villain.
yeah, yeah.
And they're really, I feel like more than in the books, like his villainy is like just to see it on screen is,
He
whew.
has like no redeeming qualities,
Yeah, I guess not.
none that they've shown us yet.
Hmm.
What did you think of Allison and Otto's interaction?
What did I think about that? I think, well, I was curious what it was going to be like for them to part, and she's all sad, and I thought that, you know, I didn't think that they were going to be straight up blaming each other out in the Red Key where people can hear them talking about it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, don't you? It's raining, but that doesn't make people deaf. You like, what's happening? Like these guards can hear you. Um, but it made me a little bit angry at him. Like, yeah, on one hand, I was like, okay, well, you have to show her the reality. Like, it's possible that, you know, maybe the babies would have to die. But I don't know that Rhaenyra would do that. And planting that seed in her head is just like was super dangerous and also strategic. But then also, for to tell her that she should have seen it coming and it's her fault that he's gotten fired because she didn't side with him like when she should have. And it's just oh man.
So
Ugh.
my thoughts were largely about him saying that war will follow if
Yeah. That's just a war
Rhaenyra
was coming if
ascends
she
the
has
throne.
seeds. Yeah.
And my thoughts were that let the war come because you have
Mm.
the Targaryens and the Velaryons. You have this huge fleet. You already have a bunch of soldiers, and you have all of the dragons in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Let them come. If
What are they gonna do?
what are they
Yeah.
gonna do? Let them come.
Man. But
And I
he's
mean,
just like,
Corlys kind of made that argument later too.
yeah, he did.
And I
He
get
did.
it. You don't want anyone to be in danger and you don't want anyone to die. But at the same time, if you've pledged obeisance to Rhaenyra, well, then those people should also defend her against the ones. Because it's not like everyone is
Mm-hmm.
against it. It's just enough are against it to be
Yeah,
a problem.
exactly.
What are they going to do against the army who's for her? If it's all the dragons are on one side
And the Navy.
and like, and they'll have infantry from other houses.
Mm-hmm. People will support her claim.
Yeah.
They might not like it, but what are they really gonna do?
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
dragons. You'll beat them into submission. Now, civil war is different because it's civil war within the family, rather, because now you have dragons
Mm-hmm.
against dragons. But if it's the family against the realm, the family and their supporters against the realm, I mean, it's going to be field of fire all over again.
Yeah.
And what can you do versus a navy and army and dragons? You just get beaten into submission. So it was him telling Allison that her children would have to be put to the sword to strengthen Rhaenyra's claim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he necessarily said it to be manipulative. I think he meant it, and it's because it's what he would do.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think it's what Otto would do. If he were in that position, he would put those babies to the sword.
Yep. Uncontested lineage. Yeah, I guess yeah. Huh. I didn't really think about it like that. I thought he was just like, she's gonna kill your babies because blah 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 blah. Um, I thought he was doing it to bring her more soundly into their cause, right?
Right. No,
But yeah.
I think he actually meant it. I
Oof.
think he really believes that, and again, it's because it's what he would do.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily think it's what Rhaenyra would do just because the other lords were against her. If Alicent was for her, there'd be no reason for her to go and kill her younger siblings. If Alicent stood for her, the queen herself, you know?
Yeah.
We finally meet that messy bitch Larys. Larys
In the
Strong, aka
gardens,
Larys Clubfoot.
Clubfoot. Yeah. Woohoo.
They make him even
But
just look shady.
I'm really enjoying the acting. I have here it's strong whispers. Because geez, what just like, oh,
That gossip.
that I was just like, this is the kind of intrigue I've been missing.
And it's
Like,
like
oh, excuse me.
what are
Oh,
Larys's motives to
oh.
smear Rhaenyra and want Alicent to be against her? Because why else would he tell Alicent that? So what are his motives?
Well, it makes me wonder what's how Strong's motives are, period. Right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, well now I forgot his name. He's the hand of the king. So that's that, which
Lionel?
yes, Lionel. Lionel's now hand. We don't know if that's like what he was aiming because we said like we he keeps telling him the truth and he keeps telling the truth in secret and giving these opinions that make a lot of sense. So
And he's like the
like
only one who's very
he's
straightforward about it all.
straightforward, right? But what's his motivation? And that's what I've been trying to figure out. And it's like he can't not know that Loris is out there spreading the seeds, um they're in the same house, the same family. I just I like a good master of whispers or just like a good court gossip, especially when that well, he said something, or he said something, he was like, she asked him like why is he gossiping or whatever, and he's like, I'm just making observations, right?
Right,
I'm
because he
just
said
observing.
he's not invited to, what is it, to
I,
speak or to the meetings or whatever it is. He's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
invited to speak, so he just observes.
He's just observes, but that's also what Lionel Strong does, right? He's
Yeah.
not speaking, he's always observing. And it's just like that's the way that they climb the chaos ladder. I don't know. But and he tells her, he's like, oh, you don't have allies, actually, it
He's like,
just
"Oh, Rhaenyra, oh, it's so bad what happened to her." And it's like, "What do
you
you
know
mean?" It was
she's
so
heard
he
she
was
was
so shady.
unwell.
Yeah, he was obviously leading up to bringing up Rhaenyra. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what his motives are exactly.
Yeah, like
Like,
what's
is it
in
just
this
to
for you?
rise? Because he could have just as easily been on Rhaenyra's side. So,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe he feels like Alicent's side is gonna eventually be the winning side when,
Eventually winning because she's got male heirs. um yeah. Whew. I don't know, but I'm
yeah,
enjoying his characters. I
he's
hate him, but
terrible.
like who so juicy.
I was like, you messy, messy bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Just showing up and telling her this when you really didn't need to do that.
Yeah. And the other thing that I wrote down as like, besides what's his agenda, is that with Otto Hightower gone, like Allison is open to manipulation from other people unless she gets her game together quickly, right?
Yeah,
And other people know that her dad's not there to back her up, and her dad's not there to say, oh, so and so talked to me, because he never approached her before, right?
right.
As far as we know, he's never approached her before, but now she's open, she's alone, everybody's gone. There's no, something fucky is going on in the castle, but you don't really know what. And you think, he obviously knows that something happened because he knows about the tea. and he probably knows that, she
Well, he's heard the
chose the wrong
rumors.
side,
He's heard the rumors. He probably
Ooh.
saw the tea being, or he's probably around. Nobody probably hid it from him,
Yeah, no,
because
because
for some
nobody's
reason you
right.
assume his foot doesn't work, so you assume that means he must be,
He's
an
he's
idiot
done
too.
exactly, and he's playing off of that.
Right.
Um, yeah,
And, obviously that's not the case. It's like, okay, he has a club foot. It doesn't mean that like he doesn't have all his faculties, but this is Westeros,
exactly,
and
exactly.
once you're a quote cripple, you're just,
Mm-hmm.
you know, essentially almost thrown away. Um,
Yeah.
so he probably was around for when the tea was being made or when the order was
Mm-hmm.
being given, or,
Mm-hmm.
nobody paid him any mind, and he put
Just
two
in
and two
fact,
together. He figured it out.
yep. He's like, oh, somebody's knocked up. Delivered by the Grand Maester himself?
Right. What was it, Grand Maester Melos?
I think so,
I
yeah.
think it was Melos.
Ooh, man. It's so good. It's so
It
good.
is, it is.
I can't wait to see what happens next with him because I'm like, well, who? Yeah, well, we'll get there. Okay. Yeah. I just, so good.
Driftmark, were you impressed?
Yes, I was. I love the throne or the
I
seat,
loved
the
it
throne.
too.
I was just like, it's part of the ship. I really, I did. Um,
I was not impressed by the wigs. They need to get those biracial wigs together.
I don't know, it's just they could have, well, they could
They
have
needed to
crocheted it.
like, I mean, like Laenor's locks don't move at all. It just
They
like
really don't.
they look like Brian said they look
Oh,
like anime hair.
it's
Like they
like the
just sit in
Halloween
one
store.
position. Yeah. And then Lena's wig looked like it came straight out of the package from the beauty supply.
Yeah, like what are
Like
they
they could have
doing?
like
There's just
picked
so
it
much
out.
potential.
They could have like just picked it out a little bit and like separated the curls a little so it doesn't look like spaghetti.
Yeah,
I was very disappointed in the wigs, but I
I stay
liked
disappointed.
Driftmark.
I mean, I like them. I like seeing them with the white hair. I like the contrast on the skin tone, right? But
Hmm.
I just like, why aren't we doing better?
Like just give her braids if that's the case, or give
Yeah,
her locks too. I don't know. Figure something out, because these wigs
yeah.
are not it. I hope they pull it together later in the season.
I was gonna say something, but you'd have to cut it out, so never mind. But you,
We'll
yeah.
save it for later.
Mm-hmm.
Less editing, less editing for me.
Yeah, the throne is cool. Viserys' health is failing, and then just like at this point, once he gets there and he's still like not feeling well, I was like, I've been on a boat before. I've been seasick. I know like it kind of lingers,
Hmm.
but it made me start to wonder. I was like, wait a second. I don't think he's just seasick. I think his health is actually on the decline now. Um, and I think they get a sense of it too because he won't let her take off the gloves or touch his hand.
Well,
He's
she
like pulling it
he
back on him.
flinched when she, it probably hurts. He
Hmm.
flinched when she touched his hand.
And
So
he was like,
I think he was in
"Ugh,
pain. And then,
yeah,
she feels the missing fingers too.
mm-hmm.
He's going through it.
He really is.
This kind of
I thought it was strange that he refused to like eat or drink anything though. And I was like, oh, wait, is he refusing bread and salt?
No, I think he just really wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
Who wants to drink wine when when you feel like you're gonna throw up?
Oh God. Not
But he also
I.
refused the chair because he doesn't want to appear to be weak.
Mm-hmm. Even though
Like you needed
they've
that
already
chair.
said that he needed the chair and they said he dragged his ass out here.
And
So
right, and
sign of
she said
weakness.
it was undignified.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, and
But
just to think
can we,
like you get there and then what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I want to talk about his illness a little bit before we get into like Laenor
Yeah.
and Rhaenyra. Do you think Maester Melos is killing him?
Oh.
Because that younger Maester had said that he had
Oh, right, 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 right,
created
right. He's got you're right.
made some fresh poultices and everything, and
And
he's like,
herb
no, the
with
leeches
herbs.
always work. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. I don't know that he's essentially I don't think that he that's a good question. I don't
I
think
guess
he's killing him.
I
I
should
think
say,
he
is he intentionally killing him or is he accidentally killing him?
I think he's accidentally killing him because he's of the old ways and refuses to like, acknowledge advances in technology because he's afraid this young guy's coming for his position.
Because, they have all these theories about Maester conspiracies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And who was it? Was it Cersei who said the first thing she do is get rid of those gray rats?
Yeah,
Was that a Cersei line?
maybe.
Somebody said that first thing they
I
do
feel
is
like
get
it's
rid of
just
those gray
Cersei
rats.
or Tyrion.
I'm leaning Cersei, but I don't know. Maybe somebody will tell me. It was Barbary Dustin. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I just wondered, like, is this Maester killing him accidentally or intentionally? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, but if he is killing him like
To what end?
intentionally, it's to make sure that Rhaenyra doesn't get to sit the throne, right? You want they because people, it's just like everyone you talk for the most part, so many people you talk to, they want it to be a man. They need a
Yeah.
king.
Yeah.
They need it to be a king. Because what does that mean in their own houses, What does that mean if, suddenly you're not marrying off your daughter, you're not be able to increase your position if suddenly the women are able to inherit and well, men are threatened and fragile. It's not all of y'all, but some of y'all just can't, whatever.
Well, back to Driftmark. I
And
thought it was
oh, that's what I was gonna
interesting about
say.
what the names, because that's what I was
Oh
going to talk about.
no.
What were you going to
I was gonna
say?
talk about names. I was gonna just talk about like Viserys comes in, he's seasick on then on top of all that, he finds out that
Lady
Daemon's wife
Rhea
is
has
dead.
died. Yeah. And I felt like they were kind of hinting to him that it was not an
Hmm.
accident and he's just not getting it. He's not picking it up.
Yeah, they're
Because
like,
they're like,
she
oh,
was
it's
so
so
well.
strange. She was really good at riding and hunting. Weird that she
Yeah,
just suddenly dies in a hunting accident when Damon shows up.
Damon gets there.
Nudge, nudge,
Yeah,
wink, wink. And like, he's just
like,
like, oh,
what's
yeah,
going on
that's
with your brother?
terrible. He's
Yeah,
just like,
he's
oh,
like,
yeah,
I'm sick.
awful,
I
isn't
don't care. I just can we just
it?
let them get married and let me go home. I miss my bed.
Question: have you ever watched The Crown?
No,
It's really good. You should watch it, even
I
if you're
know it's on my list, and it's one of those things that now there's just too many seasons.
well, yeah, there are a lot of seasons now. Well, when Corliss brought up the matter of what the children would be named,
Mm,
it reminded me of The Crown because that was an issue when Elizabeth married her husband because
mm,
she was the queen and he was, well, he at the time he didn't have a title. Later on he was given the title prince, not king consort.
mm-hmm.
But the question came up of would she continue to use his name and would their children have his name? And
Right.
she decided that she would be Windsor because they're House Windsor,
Mm-hmm.
that the firstborn and the heir or whoever is going to ascend the throne will also be Windsor, and that everyone else will be Mountbatten Windsor. And that was the
Oh,
compromise. So Prince William is William Windsor, but Prince Harry is Harry Mountbatten Windsor.
oh,
Unless he ascends the
interesting.
throne, then he'll be Harry Windsor. So that's
It's
what I
got a
thought
ring
of.
to it. But
Which
I
is nice.
but I guess like if we're talking since that's a comparison we can make, it's like he's not next in line. It would be first son of William, no?
Yeah. So
'Cause I was
they're
looking at
they're
pictures
all
of them. I was like,
Windsors.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
all Windsors, but Harry and then the other Elizabeth's other children are all Mountbatten Windsor. So only Charles is Windsor, and then William
Oh,
becomes Windsor, and then what's his name? George becomes Windsor. I think it's George.
it's
I don't
cute,
know.
baby.
Um, so anyway, that's what it reminded me of because,
Mm-hmm.
like he said, why would the Targaryen dynasty end with his daughter? Because
Yeah,
now suddenly the
exactly.
dynasty is the
The
Valarian
Valerians.
dynasty.
Yeah.
I thought
Mm-mm.
so, but I do think that was a fair compromise. You want to
I
keep
thought so
the
too.
family, the dynasty name intact,
Yeah, they can be born whatever you want them. Let them be called whatever they want when they're born, but as soon as it comes time to take the throne, they are Targaryens.
right?
Yeah.
Rhaenyra and Laenor sitting in a tree, not Kissing.
Ducking. Uh,
I thought it was kind of sweet because we know they grew up together. I thought it
yeah.
was sweet that they kind of got to their understanding immediately.
Hmm. I thought it was a really good use of analogy.
Yeah,
And,
I like duck,
you
duck
know,
with a U.
it was like our tastes are like, their preferences. And yeah, I thought it was a really sweet way. And it's just like, we're not going to pretend that we don't know. Like, I've known you my whole life.
Right.
I know what it is, and so do you. So,
And so to his parents, his dad thinks he'll outgrow it. And his mom's like, oh, this is a problem. Like,
yeah.
whether they're familiar, she said familiarity is not at issue.
It's not. And she his like his true nature, right? He's talking about
Yeah.
his true nature. And she knows that it's dangerous for him and putting him at it's putting,
I
puts
don't
him
know
at risk.
why we even questioned if they'd keep that because it's such a big part of what's gonna come next. So
Yeah.
that was silly of us to question because like you had said before, it's not like it'd be the first gay character in this universe. He's far
Mm-hmm.
from it. Um, and it's a major, major plot point later on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no reason to question if that would be the case. But we get to meet his boyfriend, Joffrey
Joffrey,
Lonmouth,
the sworn protector.
his sworn protector, a ginger no less.
Mm.
Um, and he's like cracking jokes, but it's like you are from here,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the heir of the second greatest house
Yeah.
after the royal family, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you knew what was up,
Yeah.
and now he's gonna have a wife who's like, hey, 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 let's just go ahead and have an open marriage. You do your thing, I'll do mine. We'll do our
We will
duties for
do
the
our
crown.
duties. Yep.
That's a gift.
He couldn't have gotten any luckier.
No, no, and he gets to continue. He gets to keep his boyfriend and his paramour, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to have her paramours because obviously now she's into sexual exploration. She wants to see what else
Yeah.
is out there. Like
Yep.
sex for pleasure. What? um, she doesn't want to just lay there while somebody does his business on her.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you, mister. Yeah.
We got our answer
Yep.
to our Cristan problem that we saw coming. We talked about it in
Or
the
and
spoilers, but now it's here.
yeah.
In the spoilers, we talked about
What
how
would be the
Cristan
thing?
that breaks up Cristan and Rhaenyra because we knew that they were gonna break up, but we didn't know which way it was gonna go. But we didn't want to
Yeah.
spoil that they were gonna break up.
Yeah.
Now they've broken up
A
or
night
separated, however you want to
scorned.
call it. And I think it's great that they kind of made it a little bit true on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he proposes that they run away together, and she rejects it. And I had
Yeah.
always said I think that Sir Cristan was in love with her and she rejected him, and that's why
Yeah.
he became so bitter towards her. And then the other story was that no, she threw herself at him and he rejected her. But I always felt
Mm-hmm.
like, why would that make him bitter towards her though? So
Yeah. Like why is your like let's talk about your honor. Um what is it about it that it's such a violation? Like, of course she fell in love with you. She picked you. You're her sworn protector. Like
right,
what? There's nothing wrong with her falling in love. But in that situation, is that she was already married, right? Wasn't she like already married? She was already married or
I
something, and then
can't
she.
remember.
And I think that's what it was in the book that it set him up. Is that he was like, I can't believe you're coming at me and you're already married, and then.
Right, because we have like the Maester's testimony and we have Mushroom's testimony, and nobody
Hmm.
knows which is true. And there's a little bit
Nobody
of
has the
truth in
truth.
both because Rhaenyra rejects him and then says, you can still be my side boo. And he's like, you
And
want me to
he's
be
like,
your
"What?"
whore?
And I'm so glad he said it though. I was because like that's what she was asking,
Yeah, I mean,
be
I
my
don't know.
side piece.
I think it'd be a pretty sweet gig, especially her husband's gay, and
Yeah,
so it's like her husband doesn't care, and you guys get to still, but he's honorable,
he's
but
honorable,
I am not.
and I think that he was just like at what did I write? Yeah, it's like she's just don't dishonor him further when she's talking about like she has a crown. But I feel like it's another example of just like I wrote like he is a small folk. He is a
Hmm.
pawn in this game and he's like really at the end of the day of no consequence to what it is that she needs to do. And I think that her saying that I am the crown made him realize that, wait a sec, we're not on the same level and we can't ever really think. And like, I gave up the one thing, like you gave me this position, right? But it was something that I actually kind of worked for. And it was like the highlight and most honorable thing of my life. And I ruined it and I threw it away for you. And now you're you're just like telling me that I can't even have you like all the way. I can't have you honorably. I can't make an honest woman out of you.
I was just
You
gonna
have to
say
keep me
that
in the shadows.
he thought he could get some honor back by marrying her,
Hmm.
which is kind of
Ugh.
sad. Poor
It was
poor
I
Cristan.
was sad for him, but like then
But can
it's
I
like,
just
but
say though, I don't ever want any sex that makes me suicidal. Don't want it. I don't care how good it is. You have me out here ready to commit seppuku. I'm not interested. No, keep it away from me. Keep it away from me.
I don't
I
know
don't
that I've
want it.
ever had sex that good.
No, I don't want
No.
to. I don't want to. Sex that makes me want to throw my life away and like risk being, you know, tortured and
Yeah. Yeah.
just accepting being killed. Like, no, I don't want any
Mm.
parts of it. If that's what the best is, then you know what? I'll stay somewhere lower than that because
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Have you seen Harlem Nights?
I feel like it was a long time ago.
When Larys says about her best sex record, pussy's so good if you threw it into the air, it would become sunshine.
I know that phrase.
That's
Yes.
apparently what Rhaenyra had, because Kristen Cole, I don't think he was a maiden, you know.
No, I don't think he was either. But I think he was in
He
love.
was in love, but like
He
after
was
one
in
time though,
love. But we don't know that it
well,
was
that
just
it
one
could have been more
time,
than one
because
time. And
that's
they
what I
have
was thinking. I was like, I feel like
and
it was more than once.
it's probably more than once. And they've spent years getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that from way back that,
Yeah.
they seem to have this really sweet budding relationship, friendship, whatever it was, that could
Yeah.
turn into something else.
And it's just like, I think that in those, the other thing I wrote is that, it's in that moment, maybe she doesn't realize it, but for her, it's just like, I know I complain about this stuff, but I'm just venting, bro. You're like my homie. I'm telling you how annoying it is to be the fucking princess and like all these things that I have to deal with or whatever. But like, I'm still a Targaryen. I'm still gonna do my thing. I can't believe, like, almost like I can't believe you took me seriously or would think that's an option, because do you really know me if to like, you know, to think that I would throw it all away
Or
just
creative
to
oranges.
create that's the same
I
word,
think that's
creative
what hurt
oranges
his
and
feelings.
spices. And
I
I was
think
just
that's
like,
what hurt his
mm,
feelings
just so
because to him
sad.
that sounds like such an exciting life.
It sounds like an adventure.
But she can just hop on her dragon and fly to Essos if she feels like it,
Yeah.
with some stops in between. She doesn't have to fly. She can just get a ship and go there and get all the oranges she wants. That's nothing to her.
Yeah.
To him,
You
it's
should have
like
ended up with
everything.
Arya. It's the life for her.
I
Oh
can show
man.
you the world. She was like, seen it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. She's like, why would she want to be nameless? She's a Targaryen.
She wouldn't be nameless. They would see that white hair. I
They
mean,
would see
granted,
that hair. It's just
there are
like,
people in Essos who are descendants of Valyria, so it's like
mm-hmm.
she wouldn't be the only one with white hair, but I think people would catch on pretty quickly.
Yeah. The other, just like a production note that I wrote down is like, I wrote this lighting though, when she says I am the crown, because it was like a reflector or something that they were bouncing the light off the other side of her face. And it was just this moment that I was like, "Oh, that's
That's really what.
well done." Yeah. I was like, oh, I wonder if that's a bounce board or a reflector, but whatever. I digress.
His confession. I was like, boy, why are you running your mouth? She hasn't even said yet what it is,
She
but
hasn't
you
even
know
said
what?
anything.
So during that scene, I thought what was gonna happen was that she was gonna say that Rhaenyra slept with Daemon and like, is it true?
Mhm.
And that he'd be pissed finding out that she had been with Daemon
Before him.
before him.
And this is what we talked about last time, right? That it's like, I thought, oh, he's gonna find out that she was with Damon at the brothel, and then she came home all drunk and hot in the pants, and was like, and then we had sex, like sloppy seconds to her uncle.
And
Ugh.
and I wonder if he was thinking, well, the stuff about Damon can't be true because I was with her.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she snuck
Like
out and
from
he
Dirty
doesn't.
Dancing. The
Yeah.
reason that I know that it was there is because I was with him that night. I was in his room.
Yeah, but I mean, he wouldn't have had, he still wouldn't have an explanation of how she was re entering the room when he never saw her leave.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's lovesick, or as Joffrey so eloquently put it, cunt struck.
Construct.
I haven't heard that one before.
Me neither. I was like, oh.
Oh my. It's a new it's a new one. I never
It's a
heard that
new
before.
one. I
But
want it on
yeah,
a t-shirt.
I cunt struck Lowlander.
Yes.
And
Boom.
there is our
There it is.
Stormlight Archive mention of the week.
Oh, get the miniatures, support the Kickstarter. I can't
um
wait.
yeah, so anyway, I thought that she was gonna say that what she thought happened with Damon specifically, and that he would be
Mm.
really extra pissed at Rhaenyra because of it. But instead, she hems and haws because she's nervous,
Because she's
and he just
nervous.
confesses everything that he did. And oh, sorry, I'm clicking my pen. He confesses everything he did, and on top of it, just goes ahead and accepts execution.
Yeah.
He wasn't even
He was like,
emotional about it
he's like, this is what I have to do. He's like, this is how I restore my honor, right?
by
Do the right
dying.
thing. But it's so, oh, man, it's so crazy because like as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, she was dancing around the subject because she didn't know. She's still like she's so proper, right? She doesn't know how to talk about this. She doesn't know how to talk about this with a man, right? She doesn't and like on one hand, if she had been a more experienced woman of the court, this would have been how like that would have been a ploy, right? Like I can see somebody pretending and going to this, like, I don't really know how to say it, but oh, like, and that being a strategy to tease this information out. But she wasn't even doing that. And it's just like
Right.
in both of their innocence, they come to this truth. And then she's like, wait, what the fuck, you? So wait. So not just you, but also Damon?
Or maybe it's like,
Ooh.
okay, not Damon, but you. And the other thing I thought was possible was that when he says it's true, he doesn't expound on it. That so he's saying it's true that she lost her maidenhead that night, but he's thinking to me, and she's
Mhm.
hearing it's true, and she's thinking he's confirming Damon. I thought that was another possibility.
Yeah.
What could happen?
And it's just like, oh, and then she's just like so disgusted with her and disgusted with both of them because they're both lying to her.
Yeah.
um
And on top of that, of course she's angry at Rhaenyra now because Rhaenyra's lie is why her father
mm-hmm,
is gone.
exactly.
And so now, of course, she's going to believe what her father said. Rhaenyra will put your children to the sword.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Ooh, that whole, and it was like he was so uncomfortable. She's like, just have a seat. He's like, I gotta like put down my sword and shit
Right. Like, how
to
often do they
get
come and like
comfortable,
sit with the queen in her
sit down and
chambers?
just like, yeah. I'm like, well, the king's, yeah, wow. I mean, I thought it would come out, but I didn't expect it to come out like that.
No, I didn't either.
And I just, you know, it was like we've like I said, we've been questioning like how it is that he comes to her side. But now we can see like they're in this, well, and everything that happens
Well, he
later.
sees her as this merciful queen because she didn't execute him.
Hmm.
He's
Like,
still
come
like
to my
naive
side.
about he's
But
still
also,
naive
but
about the Damon
also,
stuff.
I'm keeping, now she has something on him, right? Now he has
Hmm.
to come to her side. She's keeping his secret
That too.
because he says it was me, and he doesn't know, but he still doesn't know about Damon,
Right.
that anything even happened with them. But she's like, oh, he's like, well, now he's revealed himself, so he's in her debt. Like, not only is she merciful queen, but like she can have him put to death at any moment
Right. Right.
because he deflowered the queen to be, the princess.
She's your queen to be. Your queen to be forever. I cannot. Can I just say I cannot believe I did not have James Casey sing that at my wedding, and I will regret it for the rest of my life.
You could do it at your 10th anniversary party.
I'm gonna ask him for real.
Yeah.
I will plan a party for the sole purpose of having James sing that song.
Sounds good to me.
I'll let him know.
Hmm.
Um, Viserys again,
But
thinking about his.
wait. But if we do that, can we have like a puppet show of coming to America, just like in game, like these things, and you just like have her like jumping and like doing little barky dog thingies?
If you know any puppeteers, by all means.
I do actually.
Of course you do. Of
You
course
know,
you do.
you know, Bushwick.
Yeah. 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 I was gonna say Viserys is wondering about what his legacy will be, and it's kind of funny because obviously we know that his legacy is kicking off a Targaryen civil war because he made a woman his heir.
Hmm.
Obviously, he's not alive for it because the whole point is that it's a succession war.
Exactly. But whew, yeah, that's where my rewatch ended.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So you'll have to jar my memory because
okay.
what
Well, we can go
happened
straight
next?
straight into wedding events. We see the ships arriving from Driftmark. You see the Valarian banners, and then we see two
Mm-hmm.
dragons. So I'm assuming that was Rhaenys and Laenor arriving on
Mm-hmm.
dragon back.
Flying on their dragons.
Yeah,
So cute.
which was awesome. Um, and then it's like the welcoming feast. We have the Lannister guy, Jason Lannister, kind of being,
Oh yeah, they're announcing everyone as they're coming in.
yeah, the Valarian entrance. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
just drums.
Drums.
Oh my God. And the way they all walked in, their gowns, their outfits,
Oh, it was
I was
amazing.
in awe. I was absolutely in awe and I loved it. And I was like, I need to cosplay as a Valarian. I need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna be Belager authoress, but I think nameless Valarian might have to be the move.
Yeah, nameless. Yeah, I'm
I
all for it.
thought their
Oh,
entrance was so awesome. And then you have Damon awkwardly walking in and everyone just sits back down. Like
yeah.
they were
No one
already
stands for.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
already starting to sit, but like they definitely just like shuffled to their seats when
They're
Damon
like,
walks
oh look,
in.
here comes the murderer.
It's like, oh, this guy's back in town.
Like the nerve of him to walk in with so much swag too.
And it looked like he was well, no, we know he wasn't invited. There was no chair for him and there was no place
Yeah.
setting for him.
Yeah, they had to put it up.
Yeah, so nobody was expecting him there
Like, why is he gonna invite to Damon,
of
right?
all
Who
people.
compromised his daughter's virginity, as far as he knows, to her wedding.
Of all people. The last person he was ready to see was Damon. And
And that,
then in the
yeah.
middle of his speech, we get Allison's entrance in that
Mm-hmm.
brilliant gold gown. I mean, green gown.
Green, yeah. The gown we've all been waiting for.
See, I thought, I mean, it could still happen.
I wanted it to be more.
Well, the whole greens and black things, I still think the green and black gown thing, which you won't talk about too much,
Yeah.
I think that will still happen later.
Okay. Because I needed it to be like, I
Yeah.
was like, if
Well,
that's
Rhaenyra
the
wasn't
green
wearing
gown,
black. No, it can't
yeah,
be because Rhaenyra wasn't wearing black. So,
that's true. Because it's her wedding. But
yeah.
I do like that little tidbit that they dished out there. Like,
Yes, that the high tower shows
uh,
green when they're calling their banners to war. And
yeah.
Larys, once again, the messy bitch Larys whispering this
Mhm.
to Sir Harwin, aka Breakbones, who I love.
Yes. I can't wait to
Um,
talk about spoilers. I have
I,
questions.
I just looked at my notes and I wrote weak ass dance.
Yeah. What was that with the fucking? It was like Harry Potter.
I was like, not one
Look at the
ass
dance
being
that they
thrown.
do with thing. Not one
All
ass.
all those drums and not one ass being thrown. Are you kidding
Like,
me?
come on. What are you guys doing? They need to learn how to party and like flea bottom.
Right?
Like, come on.
I bet flea bottom weddings are out of control.
I bet so. I bet they are too. I don't know that I'd want to go to one. I'd want to like hear about it the next day. I feel like it'd be too dangerous.
What did you think about Damon and his inheritance of Runestone
I think
and what that could mean
what's
for
his
them?
name? What's his name?
The cousin,
The cousin.
Gerald, I think.
Mm, I don't remember. But coming up to me is like he's like, I'm calling you out. You murdered my cousin. And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm coming back anyway because by rights it's all mine."
I
And
was
just the
like,
way that
oh
he said it, I was
shit.
like, "Oh."
Like, oh shit, he's kind of
I think
right.
I screamed out loud in my apartment. Um,
So what is this gonna mean for Damon? Because I mean, I doubt he's gonna want to go live in the Vale.
he's not going to want to live in the Vale. It's
You know, he
boring. He
loves
doesn't like
King's
it up there.
Landing.
He
So
does.
is it
He
just a
likes the
threat?
drama.
Is it just a threat, or is he really trying to take over this castle?
I think that he's just trying, I think at this point we know that Damon is just messy, right? We know that he likes to instigate and start shit and, cause problems. And,
I don't want
I think
peace. I want
he,
problems always. Have you seen that clip?
yes. Yes. And but that's him, right? That's how
Yeah.
he keeps life interesting. He's
He's
the king's brother. He's
reckless
the
and
prince of the
chaotic.
realm. And it's,
He's
that's his entitlement. He's
he's
entitled to that for having been married to his bronze bitch.
he's restless and chaotic, like Viserys said.
Mm-hmm. Yo. But it's just like the way that whichever runestone guy that
Like
was.
her cousin.
Yeah, cuz of runestone. Um the way that he reacted, it was just like, oh wait a second.
Yeah, he's right about this.
Yeah.
It'll be
I
interesting
mean,
to
and
see.
we saw that too, right? Because like that's what happened with Lord Baelish,
Hmm.
how he inherited he
And the
inherited the
lords were
veil
like,
and
absolutely not.
yeah.
But also, Lady Aaron had a son,
Mm-hmm.
so it technically was not Baelish's. He was kind of a
He's
regent
like
in a way.
regent, right, a guardian. Um, yeah,
Because I
yeah.
mean, he has no castle of his own, so now he could, uh, take that, make that his seat.
Make that his seat. He's got plenty of sheep for his dragon to eat, even though it looks like Syrax does not eat that much ever.
His little
Skinny
skinny.
ass
Well, that's why they
dragon.
call it the bloodworm.
The bloodworm, yeah.
That long skinny neck.
Man, yeah. That whole the dance was stupid. Dance was stupid. And then everybody joining and it's I thought it was really clever of Joffrey to just keep his eyes open and just like watch to see because he was like they didn't because they said that on the beach like they didn't know who
Right.
Rhaenyra's boo was, but like you just gotta look at the only person in the room not fucking
Just
smiling.
completely sour. Just
uh,
just sour faced the
and I
whole
can't
time.
believe he went up to him. Like the crazy thing is like you
He
guys might
approached them
be
all
like raising
wrong.
your he that's what I'm saying is like you guys are comfortable in your lifestyle and like that's cool and it's like such a but like you don't know where he's like that was too his head exploded, you
Yeah.
know? He was like, wait. The arrangement is that your husband is gonna fuck another man and you won't marry me, and you're gonna get married to a man who like it was
And
too
not
much
not
for his
only
little
that,
head.
but like he's also assuming that Sir Cristan was agreeing to be her whore,
Yeah.
and where he did not. And
Oh
so
man.
leaning in with this assumption that like, yeah, we're in the same boat, bro.
Yeah.
Like let's be dishonorable together, homie. Like,
Like,
we had
yeah, we can still nobody loses here. We both win. I just came to
my
court, bitch.
boyfriend like my boyfriend is your girlfriend's wife, husband.
Yeah. You know? And it's funny because like we talked about that in the spoilers too. I was like, well, what if it's like the thing that breaks him is like this, Renly Marjorie
Oh,
Loris
right.
connection,
If
right?
yeah, right. If they approach him that way.
And yikes, they did, and he didn't like it at all.
No, he did not. Did you notice Lena being a little saucy, stroking her glass while making eyes with Damon?
Yes, I did notice
I
that.
didn't catch the glass stroking until later when I
I
was
saw
watching
that
it
when I
again.
was like, what is this tension? I was like, what is she doing? I was like, I guess she doesn't have a husband yet, and he is a Targaryen.
Right.
And he is newly available, newly single,
Newly single, he's a Targaryen. You get to have a
dragon
prince
rider.
without the drama of succession and ruling. It's
Mhm.
just you just kind of get the riches.
Exactly. You and his dad, your dad and him have like, a rapport. They
Right.
went to war together,
Hmm.
you know. Not that I think that Corlys would ever marry. her to Daemon, but like, who knows? But yeah, I was like, oh, what's that? Are we gonna get a little bit of Daemon and Lena? And that's where I thought it was going, because I mean, I felt like it would add just another wonderful, juicy element of drama to this wedding. Little did I know that we were
It's
gonna get all the drama we could
I know.
stand.
Well, him grabbing Damon, I'm speaking of, grabbing
Mhm.
Rhaenyra by her
There was
throat, and her poor father, like he's so
standing there, you're just up
stressed
there
out.
observing this through the fucking crowd.
It
It's
looked
your
like he was
daughter's
about to make
wedding.
out with her.
Yes.
And he had
The
like the
way he
sexy
grabbed
grip
her
on her throat.
face
It wasn't
was,
like the violent grip. It was like the
oh yeah,
sexy,
no. It
like
was the
I'm gonna put my thumb in your butt after this grip.
please. Yeah, man. Yeah. It was so provocative. I'm like, in front of everybody?
Yeah,
Don't you know there are rumors going around?
right.
Fucking Damon. Is he just that oblivious? Does he not give a fuck? Does
No,
he
he
just
just doesn't care because he is restless and chaotic. So he doesn't
man?
care. He absolutely does not care. And then, of course, they get lost in the shuffle because of the screams that start. And then we see Joffrey getting the shit beat out of him, the ever loving dog shit just
His
punched out of
face
his face.
bust to pieces. I'm just like, oh, does he's no eyeballs and
It
just
looked like he broke every bone in his face.
he was wearing armor.
Well, yes. Yes.
Yeah, he was a gauntleted knight.
Yeah, that was. And you
Wow.
saw Laenor jumped in to defend him, and Cristan punched Laenor
Hmm.
too. And I thought, like, oh shit, you just punched the future king consort. Like, you really lost your mind.
And like, what happens to him now?
Right.
Because it's like on my head, we're like,
Wh-
before we get to this point, right? You're like, all right, so clear, like he's like we were saying before, it's like, oh, well, Allison has something over him. He's in her debt, he's maybe that's how they become allies. But like, you just like you can't get away with this in front of the entire like
Well,
court
he would have to have a reason for acting like that. Like he would have to say Joffrey questioned the princess's virtue and he slandered her, or
as their sworn protector or whatever. But like, but
or he
questioning
put
the
her at
princess,
risk, or so,
some
he'd have
shit
to come
like
up with
that.
some reason other than just like I was mad so I beat some guy to death at your wedding. Like that's
He said
wild.
he assumed, yeah, just like all these things that like I don't know what the lie is that he's gonna have to tell to cover his ass, but it's gotta be a whopper because whew, you can't tell the
Yeah.
truth.
No. Like so anyway, Leonor's boyfriend was talking shit about how I used to sleep with the princess. It's like, wait, excuse
Like,
me?
wait, what? Like, I don't even like where do we begin to unpack
Right.
this? Like, where does that go in this room? Because that was a lot. Yeah, it's just it's so crazy. And I hadn't even I didn't until this moment, I didn't even think about like what comes next for him after this because of it was just like, whoa, this wedding just got out of hand. And it just like where's the princess? Like we thought that the biggest thing you're gonna have we're worrying about was the fact that like first of all, like Damon and Rhaenyra's like we're always gonna speak High Valyrian to each other, da da da, like that whole exchange is like I really enjoy it with that happens with them. But it's just like you were worried about like whether or not she's like, why don't you just take me then? Do what you
Yeah.
want, like come for me, prove like kind of taunt. It's
Cut
really
through.
actually not thinking,
She's
but it's
taunting him. Cut
she's
through the
taunting
King's
him, but it's
Guard
like
then,
similar to like what
Lady
Rhea,
Rhea.
right? Rhea did, right? So he's getting it twice, but she's like, if you are you about it, if you about it, you about it, and you think that like
Well, I
that's
mean,
the biggest
she
thing
probably
that
thinks
you're
he's.
worrying about.
Well, I think that she thinks he's full of shit. Look what he did to her.
He did to her, yeah.
And
He
she's just like,
can't
"You're full of shit."
finish.
He can't finish. You're full of shit. You can't finish. Like I thought you were about something. I thought we were gonna have something, and instead you left me half naked in a brothel. So fuck you.
Hmm.
And
Hands
if
down, pussy wet
like,
alone.
oh my god. And it's like, so if you're really about it, then okay, yeah, go ahead, cut through the King's Guard then and steal me away.
Hmm.
I saw it as mocking. She wasn't literally asking him to. She's still pissed, rightfully so.
Yeah, it would have made for a good scene though.
But
Yeah, but instead we get the
when
lights punched out of.
But not
Poor
only
Joffrey.
that, when Sir Lionel nods to Sir Harwin to, and he gets that as his sign to go to the princess, and we see why he's
Mm-hmm.
called Breakbones. He
Mm-hmm.
just punched his way through the crowd, and I was like, "Oh, hey, boo." I was like, "Okay,
uh,
Breakbones. Looking forward to
yeah.
seeing more of you." I know you don't watch previews, but there is going to be a time jump.
Oh, is there? Well, yeah, that I knew that because they said it's the last episode that I forgot her last name, Molly so and so, baby Rhaenyra is in.
Ah,
This was her
gotcha.
last episode. So yeah, that I figured would come next. Because I kept going like, who's that bitch on the poster?
I honestly, I didn't think we were even going to spend this much time with the younger Rhaenyra.
Yeah, me neither.
I thought it
But
was going to
I
be
mean,
like
I
one or
really
two
enjoyed it.
episodes. I did
I
too.
really
But I
enjoyed
thought it
her.
was going to be like one or two episodes.
Yeah, I did too. I really did. But I'm glad we got her for as long as we did.
I enjoyed her, yeah.
Because she's just a very fun character and just really well acted. And I feel like she did a good job embodying all things that you needed to play her. Wow.
So Sir
Yeah.
Cristan,
Give me her claps. Clap her off.
we end the episode with Sir Cristan ready to commit seppuku and just stab himself in the heart, I suppose, because I can't imagine you would stab yourself in the belly and just like
Well,
bleed
that's
out.
was it it's a oh, harakiri.
All right,
That's how I
Kiri.
know it. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
harakiri. Yeah. That's a lot of work. Harakiri seppuku is a lot of work. Because how strong do you have to be to like actually do that?
Life.
It's just
Any, I
like,
can
and then
imagine like
like pushing it
stubbing my
in and
toe
then
too
pulling
hard.
it up, like no.
First of all,
Ouch, it hurts. I'm done.
the moment I pierced my skin, I'd be screaming, and somebody would have
Yeah.
already come running. So there's that. Um, and
Well,
then Allison shows up and stops him, and that's kind of where we leave off.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I
And the
guess,
Godswood too. Like you're gonna do it in the Godswood?
yeah,
But
he's not
I don't
northern, but maybe he's descendant from the first men because he's from the Stormlands, not the Riverlands. Hmm.
mm,
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just
I
because
don't
like
know.
they've only shown us the Godswood, so he had to do it
Yeah.
somewhere.
I guess if you, I mean, if you're going to a place where, honor and all those things, reclaiming your honor, restoring your honor, I guess that's a place if you've offended the gods with your actions. I guess that makes sense. Fine, whatever, I'll let it
Well,
slide.
yeah, if you worship the old gods. If you
Yeah.
worship the seven, then it makes no sense.
We haven't seen anything really from the seven though, have we?
Only the wedding vows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then
The saddest
their
wedding
sad wedding,
of
right?
all time. The bride is crying, her hair's all messed up.
They're messed up, all
There's blood on
messy.
the floor, the tables are all messy, and the groom has a bloody nose and a black eye and is like
You
trying to
know?
staunch the bleeding. Like that's the
And
absolute
he's
he's
crying.
crying like worst wedding of all time. And it's like
And we
this
thought
was supposed
Sansa's
to be
wedding was bad,
I know. We thought there was
Like
supposed to be 7 days of tourneys and feasts, and instead it ends up just being like, fuck it, let's just get it
a
done.
shotgun wedding.
Yeah, it's like just fuck it. You know what? We're doing it right now. And then it ends with the king collapsing. Worst wedding. Well, I don't know. Probably not worse than the red wedding.
Yeah, no, we do have lots of bad weddings, huh?
Yeah. And then the
Huh.
purple
The
wedding.
purple wedding, the red wedding, this wedding, which definitely deserves a name.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that one.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that. It deserves a name though. It deserves a name.
Well, is there anything else you want to add before we get into spoilers?
I don't remember seeing any food in the wedding that I was interested in.
Oh, speaking of food, you saw Viserys struggling to cut up his food and like kind of ripping it
Yeah.
apart, and
I
Allison
mean,
being all
just we could talk
disgusted.
about her because we kind of like glanced over that, right? Like she comes in and she's just like over it all. She's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Hmm.
And then she's like in the middle, she's like, all right, I've done what I need to do. I've made my appearance, I interrupted the speech, whatever. And now I'm gonna go down and just like where they're saying, like, we stand with you, Old Town stands with you, right? It's just like, oh. Oh, because her uncle, remember her uncle was like, oh, I thought I'd find you like a little withered flower, and here you are, like you're making us proud.
He
Who
said
stands? Yeah.
You stand strong or
Oh,
something like that. And I think "We Light the Way" is their house
house words.
um, motto, house words.
Yep, we light the way. White, we light the way, and it's a white tower with green flames.
Do you want to get into some spoilers real quick? All right, it's spoiler time. So if you don't want to hear them, you know the deal. Now's your time to say goodbye. We love you. Bye bye.
Spoilers.
Time for spoilers. So I am gonna walk back the things I said about Allison because I have blamed the dance on her pretty much entirely. And remember, I was saying that I
Mm-hmm.
want her to be the one to not tell Rhaenyra that her father's dead. But in reality, it really was Otto's
Right.
machinations that led to this, like the show is showing us. And I think I was just blaming Allison because I just didn't
Mm-hmm.
see her as totally innocent. Um, and
You know
I guess
what it
we'll see
is
how it plays
also?
out.
It's just that I think that with her, I think the show has been doing a really good job of just like portraying that her youth, right? Like she's just a young girl who just, she's put in this position. It's like not like she was like, I'm gonna go read to the king, you know, like whether it's this Allison or book Allison, um, she was a calculated distraction. She was put there with the intention of, we're weaseling her way or, sneaking her way into the royal family, and it worked. So are we really mad at her? Maybe, maybe not. Like, because she could have been like, "Oh, Dad, I don't want to do it. Use one of my other sisters or whatever." But that never, that never happened either. Yeah,
Well, I think she only has a brother
but
anyway.
I think, I don't know. I,
I just felt like yes, it was Otto because when in the books when Viserys first dies, the talk in the small council goes to Rhaenyra's succession, and then it's
mm-hmm,
Otto who deads that. And I had been blaming Alicent because I felt like, I mean, I guess at that point there was a rift between them, but I felt like even though yes, her father kind of controls her and first of all, why was he even called back? But whatever, it's her dad. But I just felt like, as
mm-hmm,
Rhaenyra's alleged friend, and as someone who
right,
claims to support her claim, she should have at least told her that her father was dead. But it went along with the plans. She crowned Queen Helena herself. And I don't know how much agency she had, but at this point,
mm-hmm,
she's been the queen for a long time. And it could be like a Cersei Tywin situation where like you see
right,
that Cersei still does what Tywin
right.
says despite being Cersei. um so in some sense she didn't really have agency, but I just felt like it's just
To
such a
not
betrayal
have
to
the
not
conspiracy.
to be
Yeah,
part of the group that doesn't tell, right, to be part of the conspiracy that doesn't, they
yeah,
don't even tell you your father died. That to me was just egregious. And for me, when the moment they
mm-hmm,
did that, they all became villains. And for some reason, I was largely blaming
yeah,
Allison, but really it is Otto. It really is Otto. But I feel like, well, I mean, the face of it became Allison versus Rhaenyra. And so I guess that's why I kind of laid it at Allison's feet because I'm like, nope, I don't see her as this
right.
innocent woman
And
just
it
caught up in all of it.
And I think
Yeah,
that
you
this
took
is
an
what the
active
show is really
role.
trying to do. They're trying to, and we know that George is really involved in this, and maybe that's, what we're trying to communicate
On
because
purpose. Yeah, I
she
mean,
is
the whole
very
thing is they make
sympathetic, right? She's like,
characters
oh
gray.
man, she's been going through like basically their like her arc is that I was driven to I wasn't like this always. I had to become this way because of all these things. Um,
Hmm.
you see her character developing and changing and hardening and getting, kind of like Sansa-ish. We keep comparing her to that, but like having to play the game and suffer through it. I mean, ugh, who wants to have sex with the necrotic king? Like, ugh, he's
I know.
rotting. and and I feel bad for him, and I wish that he would have, you know. Oh, we didn't even talk about his disgusting arm. At first, I didn't know what I was looking at. I was like, oh,
I thought they was like, what is that? Like, is it? I thought they
Yeah, I
like
didn't
made
realize it
some
was his
wet
arm, and I was
rocks or
like,
something, or
are they sure it's not
like what is killing
dragon scale?
him?
Like,
Does
what
he
the
have like
fuck
is he
is
have some
that?
kind of weird
A
cancer?
grayscale dragon
You
scale.
mean
Yeah,
grayscale? We both keep
grayscale
saying dragon scale.
because ugh, it's
Well,
so
no, because they know what
gross.
grayscale is, but like he is like rotting. Like, does he have like some kind of well, no, I
But
guess you wouldn't
it's some
live that
kind
long
of
if you
like
had some kind of
poison,
blood
like some, and
cancer.
it's just like in that arm that both because I don't know. We see that first cut that's not healing on his back, right? Um, and then he cuts his
Hmm.
hand or his head, and then his arm, and it's just like at first I thought it was just like, oh, it's just more
It's
of that. But then you see him, the aerial, the bird's eye view of him piping it out, and you're like, oh no, he's got these sores all over himself, like.
and it, like the
Mm-hmm.
nosebleeds collapsing. That's why I was like, is the maester just killing him?
Yeah, I mean, he could be being slowly poisoned.
That'd be awful.
It'd be very George-like, though.
Were there any other spoilers you wanted to talk about?
Mm. Oh, I want to talk about how and who and when are we going to meet Rhaenyra's baby daddy?
We did meet him,
I
Breakbones.
know, but like, I want it to be like, I want to know like what brings them.
Oh,
I
I
want
mean,
to
we'll
see
probably
that,
see that next week.
you know?
He's very handsome too, the actor.
Yeah. It was so good. It was my favorite episode. Just like the
I
intrigue
think
and
it might be mine too.
oh, it was like it just felt like it had all the elements of why I like the series to begin with. You know,
Right.
had the drama, had the intrigue, you saw dragons, you saw just like impossible situations and people. Oh man,
And I had
yeah,
been thinking last week, I'd been thinking that I wanted to get into some dragon fighting
yeah. I
and
forgot
just or
about
just
dragon
some
fighting,
fighting in general.
but you know what?
We've seen just kind of small battles,
Hmm.
nothing huge. Like we haven't had like an episode long battle like we did
Yeah,
with like
yeah.
uh
Hard Home
Hard
or
Home
Black
or Battle of
Battleroy
the
Bay or
Bastards.
Blackwater Bay. Like none of yeah, no, we don't have any I haven't seen any of that yet because I mean we talked about last week, they rushed through the whole battle scene on the stepstones. um but even though I kind of wanted those things too, I felt like this episode was just so satisfying.
Yeah.
Like that
I
was
mean, the
good
whole time it left me
TV.
really tense.
Yeah,
It left me tense and left me feeling bad for poor Viserys because it's just so stressed out.
I know, poor guy.
But yeah, the whole
I felt
Allison
bad for him
thing.
and bad for Sir Kristen because just like, man, like
Yeah, he's all
you're
heartbroken.
heartbroken. Your
He's
boo
so
rejected you.
naive.
Just like she said she wouldn't run away with you. Now there's this other guy. Now
But I mean,
you killed the guy
he's
in
so
front of everybody.
but he's so naive. Like, how could you possibly think the princess is gonna run away with you?
He
Like
probably never thought he was
he
gonna smash you through though, and that came true.
but like it's like he's been listening to the songs like Sansa has been and just thinks like all like
Hmm.
the white knight's gonna flee save the princess from these horrible duties and this marriage she doesn't want and flee across the sea and live
Yeah.
happily ever after with their lemon trees. It's like, bruh,
Yeah.
she
House with a
actively
red
wants to be
door.
queen. Like she wants to be queen.
Yeah.
And so,
And the other, oh, that's what I was gonna say. The other thing is that I think that on the boat, I felt like they were hinting at that she was like, listen, there, my path, this and this and that. She's like the path is what I can read. Um, but I felt like she was about to tell him, like, listen, there's more to this. Like, I don't just want to be queen. I have to be
oh,
queen
the
because
whole
I
Song
know
of
the
Ice and
secret.
Fire.
Exactly. Like there's a path that we are set on that the Targaryens are set on, and you don't know. And I maybe like this was the time where she was gonna open up and be like, listen, I have to do this because of this. It's much, much bigger than me. It's much bigger than the Iron Throne, right? They're hinting at that. And he was too heartbroken to stand behind and listen. And so now he'll never
Yeah.
know.
Well, that's a wrap for me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to I wanted to admit that I was wrong and walk back my Allison statements. I'm a woman of honor.
Yeah.
I'll admit that I was wrong and I was being too harsh and I was leading with my heart and not my head.
Hmm. I don't know. I feel like it's you might not feel that like we'll just see what comes next because you might change your mind about her.
That's
You might
true.
change it back.
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. We
Yeah.
have a ways to go before we get into the whole council meeting about Viserys' death. I'm assuming this season's going to end with his death.
Although I did have a question of like how the crab feeder's mask ended up in Corliss's house, because it's not like he killed him. Like that's like the
Well,
macabre
well,
souvenir.
when you go back to when he first meets with Damon, they
Mm-hmm.
kind of show his study or whatever the room is, and you see remnants. Yeah, he has like
He's
a
a
collection.
collector.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. I did really like seeing kind of like a little glimpse into like more another glimpse into their marriage, right?
Yeah. I love the way they just look at each other and like they
Yeah,
just know.
yeah,
They just know. They look at each other and she's like, you know what I'm thinking. He's like, yep, I know what you're thinking.
yeah.
And then that's it.
I love it.
They seem like they actually love each other, which is nice.
Do you think we're gonna
Nice
see
to see you.
some? Oh, sorry.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, do you think we're gonna see some more sassy Lena Valerian and Damon?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because they do end up getting married and having
Mm-hmm.
children. She has that saucy little dragon rider who
Mm-hmm.
comes to fight. What was her name? Bela. That's what I was thinking of.
Bella.
But anyway, that was all I really had to talk about. I've been Tanya,
I'm always Nikki.
and we are 1,000 Eyes and One, and we will
The
see
podcast.
the podcast, and we'll see you next week. To find previous episodes, go to thousandeyespodcast.com. You can also find us on YouTube, 1,000 Eyes and One Podcast. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter as 1,000 Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram, 1,000 Eyes and One. If you're interested in our speculative fiction book club, that is Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram.